watching Open Studio. This is Cape Town TV, channel 263. I'm your host, Thabang Segaecho. Welcome to today's program. Again, this is a program where we go about hosting amazing guests, doing amazing things across the province of the Western Cape, various organizations and institutions who are making a real difference and making a change, a much needed transformative change within the members of our society. And today is is no different. We are hosting Michael Ender. Did I say it right?
Michael Ender, yes, yeah, that's me.
Michael Ender is on the show with us today and coming from an organization called Seapoint, Frenaye, and Bantry Residents and Ratepayers Association, right? SFB for short, right?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Amazing organization. Thank you so much, Michael, for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present what we are doing, yes, and
Amazing
gaining support.
stuff. Wonderful, thank you so much. Won't you just tell our viewers a little bit, before we go and unpack about your organization, who is Michael Ender and how did you find yourself in the organization?
Okay, well, I was born in Germany, so I'm German, and since 2000 I'm operating a guest house in Seapoint, and I was approached in 2019 to join the executive committee of the SFB, which I did. I started off as the treasurer in April 2019, and in June 2020, I became chairperson.
Yeah. Wonderful. So, how is your role for you being the chairperson of such a very dynamic organization? I have to say.
Well, you see, we determine very much ourselves and according to our constitution how dynamic we are or how dynamic we are not.
Right.
The SFB represents about 20,000 residents and ratepayers in Seapoint, Bantry Bay and Frenaye, of which, unfortunately, very few are currently members of the SFB. So this is one of the opportunities to get more support and to gain more members into our organization.
100%. Very powerful initiatives that I've come to know that you are busy doing, namely Project Hope, right? Is one
well, you see, Kevin is our man on the ground when it comes to Project Hope. We have different subcommittees which we created. One existed already, which is the planning committee.
Right.
But we also transformed our executive board dramatically since 2019. There are now 12 members, of which 50% are female, and we have a lot of younger people now in our executive board, which I think is very important.
Absolutely.
And we're trying to represent the population of our area as much as possible.
100%. So what would you say about your organization, what is the end goal basically,
Well, we have various challenges within the community, homelessness being one of them. So I understand that at the moment this is on everybody's mind because it's right in front of you and it is affecting us as humans as well. I can tell you that in my view there are actually far more serious challenges which are facing our communities, not only in Seapoint, of which I would also like to talk at some stage very much.
Yes, 100%.
When we started off in 2019, after I joined the EXCO, our problem initially was that we didn't really understand the problem of homelessness. And many understood this of being a mainly safety and security issue, which it is clearly not.
Right.
It's a social economical issue.
Right.
That is very important. So there needs to be a shift in understanding. Then we try to obtain information. How many homeless people do we have in Seapoint? What are the issues with these people? What are their problems? How can we help, etc., etc. And we found that there are various organizations like the City Improvement District, which is only covering Main Road Seapoint and Regent Road, and some other organizations. But it was extremely difficult for us to actually understand the problem. And the thing is, if you don't understand the problem, you can't solve it.
That's correct.
And very often, once you understand the problem, the solution is in front of you.
That's right.
So that led to the employment of Kevin through a generous grant
Yes.
of one of our new EXCO members, Miles October. We employed Kevin, and this for our organization was an eye-opener.
100%.
So
Yes.
Kevin provided us with his knowledge and adapted his knowledge in our area and provided us with the necessary information of actually understanding what was going on. Kevin provided some exceptional success stories, reuniting homeless people that have been living on the street for many years, some of them, with their families, with their husbands, wives, etc. But soon we understood that although this on a individual basis
Yeah,
is fantastic,
absolutely.
it does very little for the community. I have to say that. Because you remove one person from the street, another person moves in.
Right.
And we represent the residents and ratepayers of Sea Point. We do not per se represent the homeless as such.
Right.
They are part of our community as well.
Correct.
But let's say there are 500 homeless people in Sea Point, but we have 20,000 residents. So we need to look into what can we do for the residents and at the same time for the homeless. And we need to find a solution that is lasting and that is actually a solution.
Yes.
So by removing people from the street and having other people moving in is
Does
not doing much
nothing,
for the
yeah.
community.
Yeah.
So the second part is that we need to discuss when we talk about homelessness is shelters. A lot of people think if there are shelters, these people can put into the shelters, and that's where they are. So they're off the street, now they're sitting in the shelter.
Right.
No.
Right.
We had a huge problem with the city of Cape Town in 2019, towards the end of 2019, because when we started to discuss this matter, the message was, these people want to stay on the street. They don't want to go into shelters.
Oh, wow.
Then we were told, no, there are enough shelters. There's no shortage of shelter space. It ended in a very serious conflict, not on a personal level, because we tried to really engage with everybody in a very amicable way, but obviously we needed solutions for that.
That's right, yes.
So now this is no longer an issue. The City of Cape Town acknowledges and understands that there is a serious shortage of shelter space.
100%. And on that note, Michael, I would like to go quickly to a break, and then when we come back, I want you to expand a little bit more on that. Stay tuned and don't go away. We'll be right back. You are tuned in to Open Studio, Cape Town TV channel 263. It's myself, Thabang Segaecho, and yes, just before we went to the break, I was speaking to Michael from the SFB organization based in, Sea Point, Frenaye, Bantry Bay, and
That's it.
there. That's right.
Big enough.
And soon enough, the rest of the Western Cape, right?
Please not.
Right, okay, wonderful. And we were talking earlier, you were just taking us through your journey with how the city came into play and what actually came off of that engagement. Won't you just pick up from where we left off, where you are right now with the city?
Yes, we were talking about shelters where people would find a space to sleep. Now, the issue is you can put somebody into a shelter for the night where he finds a place to sleep, but that doesn't provide him with an opportunity to get back into a normal life.
Right.
Human beings want to have a purpose. That is very important. And they want dignity. Ideally, they want to have a job and an income. And that's why a lot of these people are actually ending up on the street. Because when you see them there, the way they are, they have not always been like that. They were made this, or they made themselves that way. Right. So, and I explained that we came to the conclusion that it doesn't make much sense to remove people only from the street and to reunite them, but that we would need to find a mechanism to stop this procedure and actually put people into use, into
yes,
purpose.
To break the cycle,
yes.
Yeah.
And that's how we came up with this idea of to create employment opportunities for homeless people, which we are now doing in certain areas on Beach Road. We're rolling this out now. We have shifted priorities because We are also a non-profit organization.
That's right.
None of our board gets paid, so I'm also sitting here without any payment, which also puts certain restrictions on our ExCo members because they all do this voluntarily. So you can't force anybody into something. We need
That's
to
right.
create the right environment for people to wanting to partake in order to achieve something.
Yes.
So we are now in the phase of starting to employ homeless people to take up certain areas on Beach Road, to keep them clean, to keep them safe, and to take up all potential economical opportunities in those areas, which means, on the other hand, those opportunities will no longer be available for others.
Right.
That's the whole idea.
Okay, yes.
The second very important part is you need to bring this homeless issue into the community.
Right.
Initially, and still in many areas, people perceive homelessness as something that somebody else needs to sort out.
Or the
There's
government.
a homeless person in front, is just making his business in front of your property. You need to phone SAPS. SAPS needs to do something.
That's right.
You can't lock up a person for doing the business in front of your property.
True.
It doesn't work.
Right.
So the thing is, you need to connect it with the community. We had a workshop under lockdown, which was very difficult, in my guest house, which is empty since end of March, with homeless people, trying to get down to the bottom of why is responsible giving not working. A lot of organizations, a lot of people have tried responsible giving, don't support people on the street, don't give them money, don't provide them with food, etc., etc. It's not working. Why is it not working?
That's right. You want to get to the
Exactly.
core of it, the crux of the matter, yeah.
The interesting finding from the homeless side was that they don't want money.
Oh, really?
They want dignity,
Oh, wow.
and they want a job.
Yes, sustainability. They want to be able to sustain themselves.
Exactly.
Yes, 100%.
The other side is, why do people provide means to homeless people? Because, first of all, these people are in need.
That's correct, yes.
If you have somebody sitting in front of Checkers in Sea Point under lockdown, under hard lockdown, being hungry, and somebody walks out with 2 nicely stacked shopping bags, what do you expect?
Right.
So it's human. It's part of our human nature, and it's not a negative attitude. If you want to help,
That's right.
it's normal. It's the way it should be. So we need to connect to these people and show them and prove to them there is another way.
There is another way, yes.
Support us. Because what we're going to do is we're going to provide opportunities for these guys. Now, these opportunities come with restrictions, come with rules and regulations.
That's right.
So it's not just that you will pay for your shelter fees and you get a monthly stipend. No. No drugs, working hours, do your job properly. So we need to create an organization around it with management and everything.
That's right.
And facilities on a social basis, like what Miles is doing. They create soccer teams, they do all kinds of things together. So they connect as a group. And now you have the homeless people of Sea Point in bibs, dressed up, staying in the shelters. And you see the residents of Sea Point seeing what is going on there.
That's amazing.
And suddenly, the perception of what a homeless
Changes.
person is like is changing. And that is what we need.
Yes.
So you don't need to give money to that person. Provide the opportunity, support the organization that is doing this.
I love that so much because you are going back, like you were saying, restoring dignity, human dignity by addressing basic human needs, shelter, food, that is so profound. And how has the residents, those that are not partaking, how have they received this?
Well, I have to say that we only started with this pilot project now.
Yes.
So it's relatively new. I think it's going to work.
Absolutely.
I think compared to other ways of trying to look into the homeless matter, we have a good chance of making a significant difference.
I love that because your approach is very unique and it's one that's very comprehensive. So you're looking at the person from a holistic approach and not just dealing with meeting the need for, like you were saying, for their day, and then the rest of it doesn't get taken care of. That is so powerful. And for you, how has that impacted your life? Just
Well, you see, Thabang, this is only one aspect in our daily efforts. I have to say, obviously, it's very nice if you see that people are being reconnected to the communities. What has been very rewarding for me personally is to see the change in the organization, the change of different people coming onto our executive committee, the dynamics, which is rewarding because obviously you can expect there's lots of negative news that you get, all of us, each and every day, especially now under lockdown and with COVID.
100%.
So we all will all look for some kind of personal reward for us to move on.
Something to give us hope, hence Project Hope. That is beautiful. We'll be right back. We're just going to go for a quick break, and when we come back with the conversation, it's going to continue. Stay tuned. If you've just tuned in, you are watching Open Studio, channel 263. This is Cape Town TV. Welcome back. And as we were saying, Michael, earlier you were just saying that you are really bringing hope back into the communities, right? By helping the homeless people, but also educating and somewhat involving the residents to partake in this amazing initiative that you have happening under your organization, the SFB, which is happening in the areas I had mentioned before we went into the break. Won't you just tell our viewers real quick, how can they actually partake if somebody's watching right now? What can they do to help your organization, and what other aspects can you let us know that you're experiencing as an organization, and see how others can actually come in?
Well, in most cases like these, people are asking for money, donate, etc., etc. And I have to say, believe it or not, at this stage, we don't really want your money. We want your involvement. We want you to reclaim your communities. We want you to come on board.
That's powerful.
Our annual membership is 125 Rand.
That's a year.
That's for the year.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Okay, so join your ratepayers organization and help us to reclaim the community by becoming a member, but especially by becoming on board. Our exco is open. If there's somebody who thinks he can contribute, he's got a meaningful contribution to make, he can join our exco. We have many committees, for example, on environment, on PlanCom, where we can do with people who have expertise and energy to participate and to do something for their community.
100%.
The biggest challenge at the moment, although homelessness is on everybody's mind, is not homelessness. The long-term challenge, in my belief, is with regards to planning and environmental.
100%.
There has been a serious shift recently, underhanded by the City of Cape Town, to change the parking requirements for new blocks of flats in certain areas.
Oh, wow.
There used to be the necessity to provide one parking bay per flat. And we got cases coming up in our planning committee in October. And usually, if you don't stick to one parking bay per flat, it's a departure. So this is a reason to object in our planning committee. We had projects coming up, 22 apartments, 4 parking bays, no departure. So you ask, what's going on? How can this be? Then, speaking to the councillor, nobody really knows. Eventually we find out the City of Cape Town underhandedly has changed the parking requirements here for new blocks of flats.
And you were not made aware of this?
Not a single parking bay per block of flats. Which means now, on a plot of 588 square meters, where initially you might have gotten 4 or 5 apartments, you now have in a heritage overlay zone, right next to a park, 22 apartments.
Oh, wow.
With narrow roads of not even 4 meters, where there's already serious problems with parking. Then you discuss this, and it is marketed as micro apartments, between 18 to 26 square meters. It includes the kitchen and the bathroom. This is supposed to be for low income.
Right.
Rubbish. These apartments have a square meter price of roughly 60,000 rand
Oh, wow.
for 1 square meter. Because the smaller the apartment, the less parking bays you need to provide for a block of flats,
Right.
the bigger the profits.
Right. It's all about the profit margins.
There's not South African people who are going to move into these flats. It's for tourists.
That's right.
It's for Airbnb. So our area is supposed to be turned into a place that is potentially bustling in summer, and in winter it's going to be dead.
Absolutely.
The infrastructure, what we have, families, people that associate with their communities, that are active, that participate, will cease to exist to that extent.
Right. Right.
The city is supporting this on the basis of potentially generating additional rates income, although funny enough, I, as a guest house, I have to pay commercial rates, which are
Yes.
double the residential rates.
Yes.
Airbnb guys all travel on residential rates. They don't pay commercial rates.
Yes, of course, yeah, because they are leasing out their homes, right? Most of them.
Most of them,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a myth that people rent out their place for some time during the year, and it's a myth. Most of these places are run professional. I mean,
in,
in
year
18
out.
square meters you want to share with a host? Certainly not. So this is development driven. And the city of Cape Town comes along because money talks. You have a new project coming up in Sea Point, 600 million rand.
Oh, wow.
600 million rand, don't you think there would be R1 million left to grease some hands, to participate in some activities on the political level? It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. It's a serious problem. Now I come to another aspect. Densification is a necessity, and we are not against densification as such.
Right.
But the infrastructure needs to carry the densification.
Right.
On the Atlantic seaboard, including the City Bowl, the entire sewage is dumped into the ocean, untreated, every single day. Kemps Bay, 11 million liters of sewage every day, 11,000 tons. Mully Point, 44 million liters,
Oh, that's a lot.
untreated. There are no plans of changing this. If you add more buildings, you add more residents, it's going to be more. The bad news for our listeners is the beaches on the Atlantic seaboard are not safe. The University of Cape Town has done analysis. You can follow it up on our Facebook page, on our website. You can read it for yourself. Research done. The amount of pharmaceuticals in the water on the beaches is absolutely shocking.
Oh, wow. You know, I'm just listening to all this information that you are bringing across, our oil waves. One wouldn't know this, even being a resident of Cape Town for so many years, that you are shedding it to the light. And this does affect, like you were saying, there are so many dynamics at play with what you're doing, which is Project Hope. And with that, more people might want to find out about the concerns you've raised. Won't you just tell our viewers how do we actually get a hold of you, and how they can...
Well, the best is to contact us via email.
Okay.
Or to visit the website or the Facebook page. Our email address is admin@sfb.org.za, right, Karen?
Right.
I think so, yes.
Wonderful.
So contact us, come on board, participate, because we need you.
Absolutely. Yes. Viewers at home, I hope you are listening. You are needed. There is something you can do. And again, do make some time to visit their website pages just to find out a bit more. And thank you so much, Michael, for being here today. It was such a pleasure hosting you. Till next time, join us again every day at 5 o'clock. This is Open Studio. I'm your host, Thabang Segaecho, Cape Town TV 263. God bless.